Jacob Wetterling is the Storm Boy, and the boy who is Jake's psychic reflection is the boy who told me that Wetterling translates as Weather Child. And today is Jacob Wetterling's birthday, Saturday, 17th of February 2018. Jake would have turned 40 today. Blaine is a pain, and that is the truth. Jake Chambers said this in The Dark Tower by Stephen King. So what's happening with the weather today? We should find out.
An update now on the status of the tropical low that's moving off the West Kimberley coast, which is expected to develop into a tropical cyclone sometime later today. It has already brought flooding rain across parts of Broome. What you're seeing on screen is very recent vision from around the Broome and West Roebuck regions. We are now in the midst of the wettest February day on record, with over 340 millimeters falling at Broome in under 24 hours. It's very close to double the entire monthly average. This is an area that's recovering from just a few short weeks ago when we had similar rainfall totals battering the region. Now, the radar imagery shows the movement of this tropical low as it's moved off the coastline. There's the center of it. You can see these showers and rain bands spiraling around. Outer bands of the tropical low are still impacting that Dampier Peninsula region and around the Broome area, and we can see those showers just training on shore, and that's why Broome has had this absolutely relentless stretch of weather over the past 24 hours. Now, there's a tropical cyclone warning in effect from Cape Leveque, the North Dampier Peninsula, right to Port Hedland, including De Grey, Willall Downs, 80 Mile Beach, and the Broome area. A tropical cyclone watch is in effect just to the south of that area and inland of the Pilbara and West Kimberley areas, where Marble Bar and Telfer regions are included. Now, for that tropical cyclone warning area, that's the immediate threat. Gales are expected to develop today, particularly on the eastern flank of the tropical low, so it's more likely across the Dampier Peninsula and the Broome region than it is gales across the Port Hedland area, but you should prepare for the event of a tropical cyclone just in case, because it's a slow-moving system. Right now, it's only moving at about 7 kilometers an hour, and as such, it's likely to pick up intensity and intensify into a Category 1 tropical cyclone sometime later today. Right now, sustained winds around its central core are around 55 kilometers an hour and gusts up to 85 kilometers an hour. As it slowly moves west and wobbles a little bit, it should pick up its intensity. What's stopping it from being so intense right now is its vicinity to the coastline, fairly close, and so the frictional effects of the land are getting in the way of its development. But to the east of the low pressure center, take a look at that. Winds go clockwise around low pressure systems, so the heaviest rain and the gustiest of winds will all be to the east, and unfortunately that does include you in Broome. We have flood watches in place across the Pilbara and the Kimberley districts, and we've already had flood warnings issued due to that heavy rainfall we've already seen with this tropical low pressure system. Remember, don't drive through any flooded waters, but if you require assistance due to storm damage, contact the State Emergency Services at 132-500.
And what you might notice in this little segment coming up is the temperatures. Sydney and Perth are going to 27 today, which is the value of the name Jake. And the weather system off Western Australia is currently called Invest 91S. 91 is the value of Spirit, Mirror, Weta. S is 19. Add them together and you get the value of Minnesota. So a lot of reflective stuff happening here with numbers. And Jacob, the name Jacob, equals 31. That's today's temperature in Canberra, Darwin and Brisbane.
We could see some showers about today for you in Brisbane. A warm day though, with a top of 31 degrees. Slightly warmer for you in Ipswich with a top of 32 degrees. Now, those conditions will be clearing for a gorgeous Sunday, a top of 32. Similar conditions as well on Monday. We could see a few showers developing on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we won't see too much in the gauge if we do see those showers at all. And 29 degrees expected for your Thursday. Well, down into Sydney, a dry, hot and sunny day is forecast for Saturday. 27 degrees is the expected top, and even warmer out in the west. An absolutely stellar of a weekend. 29 degrees expected on Sunday. However, to start the working week, we could see some showers about on Monday and Tuesday, clearing up midweek on Wednesday with a top of 24 degrees. Now take a look at what Canberra was looking like on Friday. Absolutely gorgeous. What a spectacular photo that is. Now Canberra, it is going to be another gorgeous day for you on Saturday, a top of 31 degrees, sunny conditions, a bit of cloud cover about, very similar on Sunday, but warming to a top of 34 degrees. Now we are going to see a cool change hitting on Monday to start the working week, dropping down to 25 degrees, and with that we are expecting some showers to develop as well. Clearing though for the rest of the week, and it will start to warm up once again with a top of 31 degrees expected by Thursday. Now down into Melbourne, 28 degrees and sunny conditions for your Saturday, and a gorgeous week ahead it looks like. A few showers we could see about on Sunday, but not much in the gauge if we do see anything there at all. Gorgeous sunny conditions to end the working week, 30 degrees on Thursday. In Hobart on Friday, this is what it was looking like. Absolutely gorgeous conditions out on the water there. A little bit of cloud cover about. We could see a bit of cloud about for your Saturday as well, with a few showers expected, and a top of 23 degrees. Showers are likely to stick around for Sunday. That temperature dropping down to 19 degrees. It will stick around 19 degrees on Monday to start the working week, but drying up and warming to 23 by Tuesday and 24 on Thursday. Over into South Australia, gorgeous dry, sunny and settled conditions for you in Adelaide. 30 degrees is the expected top, with a bit of cloud cover about. We could see some showers about on Sunday, but drying up to start the working week on Monday, and it is going to be a warm week ahead. 35 degrees expected on Tuesday and Thursday, so absolutely gorgeous conditions there for you in Adelaide. Over in the west, a top of 27 degrees for you in Perth. Partly cloudy conditions, but mostly dry and settled. A gorgeous week ahead. Mostly cloudy conditions, but we will see that warm, dry weather sticking around. Now for you in Darwin, a top of 31 degrees is expected. We could see some showers and possible afternoon storms. Very similar conditions right through the rest of the week, with those showers and storms likely to stick around.
We've already seen heavy rain across the Kimberley. It's set to continue today with this tropical system, and we have a lot more rain to fall. Now, on the eastern side of the tropical cyclone is where we are going to be seeing the heaviest of the rain, and if you look at the winds, it's pretty apparent why. Now, winds go clockwise around low-pressure systems in the southern hemisphere, and a cyclone is just an intense tropical low-pressure system. So we have clockwise winds right around the center of that tropical cyclone. This is 12 p.m. on Sunday, and so those winds are coming off very humid waters of the Indian Ocean and drawing that tropical moisture straight to the Kimberley coast. Now, to the west of that system, if you look over here, it's dry because we have offshore winds. These are desert winds that are spiraling around there. So we actually have some pretty dry air moving across that sort of Karratha Port Headland region. But to the east of it, around the Broome, Roebuck, Kimberley region, Cape Leveque, Dampier Peninsula, all those regions, those are the areas that are going to be getting that heavy and flooding rain. So anywhere to the east of that tropical cyclone is where the worst of the impacts will be. All right, let's speed up now, go from Sunday and into Monday. This is when we expect the tropical cyclone Kelvin to make landfall somewhere along either the West Kimberley coastline or the East Pilbara. It is very difficult to forecast tropical cyclones, so we're just going to sort of say that in a generic tone somewhere along that coastline. I should mention this stretch of coast is exactly where all of these systems have made landfall, and it's not entirely a coincidence there. Heavy rain will continue. It's a slow-moving system, and unfortunately, Broome is an area which is set to get even more heavy rain. Now, it's when we have a northerly flow across Broome, we don't really see that much rain. What we do see when a westerly flow is when that area starts to flood, and that's what's happening when we go further ahead, because the low itself will move inland. It'll set up a westerly flow across that stretch of coastline, and that heavy rain will commence for that region, or intensify, I should say. Widespread totals 200 to 300 millimeters, and isolated totals in excess of 400 millimeters. This catchment area is already completely saturated. There's still water that's flooding some of the roads, and so any further rainfall is going to result in very fast and rapid river responses across the region. If it's flooded, forget it. All right, let's take a look at the southeast, where we had more storms yesterday afternoon. They were bad storms hitting the Kingaroy area, bringing gusts over 80 kilometers an hour, also hit Bow Desert region. This afternoon, we expect showers and storms again across that same low-pressure trough. They don't look quite as intense, but they could be severe. Into Sunday, though, the trough shifts inland, and so did the storms. You can see southeast Queensland not expecting storms. What's pushing that trough inland is actually what's behind me, that low-pressure system. That is the remnants of Tropical Cyclone Gita. It could still be a tropical system, but what it's doing is pushing that heat trough further inland, also ending that heat wave. More on that in a second. But producing giant swell. Today, expect beach closures right up and down the New South Wales coast and across southeast Queensland as we have large period swell. So the time in between the individual waves is large. It's between 12 to 15 seconds. That is a measure of the energy of the waves. So the longer period, the stronger the waves are. And this sort of strength in waves we haven't seen in years for parts of southeast Queensland. The wave height will be pretty big as well, reaching around 6 to 8 feet for parts of southeast Queensland and even bigger for some parts of New South Wales. So beach closures likely, not only today but into tomorrow and Monday as well, as hazardous surf warnings are set to continue. Now in terms of that heat wave, well, it's sticking around today for South Queensland, northern New South Wales, much of the inland of Queensland as well. We don't have too much longer to go. As we get to tomorrow, well, we'll start to see southeasterly winds set up a little bit more, but as we get further into Monday, notice we have southerly flows surging across the southeast here, temperatures cooling down for New South Wales, and then finally in southeast Queensland, Monday and into Tuesday. With the threat of tropical cyclones still persisting this season, we thought we'd just take one moment to explain what tropical cyclones actually are and what categories we use to define their risks. Now, tropical cyclones, by definition, are low-pressure systems that derive their energy from warm tropical waters. Sea surface temperatures need to be at least 26.5 degrees for tropical cyclone formation. Now, they need to have at least sustained gale force winds around part of the low-pressure center for several hours in order to be classified as a tropical cyclone. So it has to be sustained gale force winds over a certain period of time. But of course, the winds can be much stronger than that. They can get very destructive after a while as well. Now, the satellite imagery actually shows a few tropical systems that we're monitoring. Tropical Cyclone Gita producing huge swell for the eastern seaboard, including New South Wales and southeast Queensland coast. And of course, we have the system off of the West Kimberley coastline. Now, Gita is a big, big system. This system was a Category 5 at one point, and it's still bringing some impacts to the entire coastline of New South Wales east, and will be impacting New Zealand later. Now, we saw infrared satellite imagery, but this is what you look at. If you're in space and you're just looking down at the ground, this is what you're seeing. Tweeted by Met Office Storms a little while ago. The eye very close there, and you can also see New Caledonia and Vanuatu. Now, it's interesting to note, I described what tropical cyclones were, but physically, what they are physically is a rotating cluster of thunderstorms spiraling around a central eye. It's quite a phenomenal feature that we have here, and they get quite big. They can get thousands of kilometers in diameter, and some of the smallest ones have actually only been tens of kilometers in diameter, so quite a wide variety inside. Now, we've also seen some pretty intense thunderstorms associated with this tropical low in the Kimberley, and in fact, Broome had some interesting photos coming through over the course of Friday. This was taken and tweeted earlier by the DFES of Western Australia. A beautiful shelf cloud there, and of course, Broome in the midst of their wettest February day on record. You can see that rain underneath that shelf cloud here. Now, this is just one thunderstorm of the conglomerate of storms that rotate around tropical lows and tropical cyclones. Now, tropical cyclones in Australia are broken up into different categories, and those categories explain the risk. Here in Australia, we break it down based on the maximum wind gust potential of that tropical cyclone. So if you have a Category 1, that means winds gust at least 90 kilometers an hour and up to 124 kilometers an hour. That's the maximum wind gust, not the sustained winds, the gusts that come through. So Australia's categorization system is really based on hazard and risk management. Other places like the United States and also Japan, they base their categories off their mean wind or average wind speeds, but we base it off those gusts. Category 2, 125 kilometers an hour, that's your minimum gust strength, and Category 3 is when you start referring to the tropical cyclone as severe. It's because you have very destructive winds associated with it. Category 5, we only see a few of those every now and then, and that's over 260 kilometers an hour. We're still in the midst of tropical cyclone season, and generally the cyclone season peaks into February, but you can still have bad cyclones happening in March.